Hello, everyone, and welcome to your weekly dose of Truth Tarot. This is for the week of December 5th to the 11th. So we're getting closer and closer to solstice, the winter solstice, the end of the year, and of course, all the holidays that accompany this period of time. Rather beautiful period to think about gratitude, to enjoy family and friends. So, this is a great time to appreciate what we have, despite all the things that we do lack. So, what I'm going to do is, I love these little, you know, figurines in the background. It reminds me of my childhood when I used to watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Santa Claus. The Year Without a Santa Claus, those cartoons, just love them. Anyhow, let's be a little bit childlike today and see what's going on um, with all of us. I'm just going to do kind of a general what do we need to know so we could have a little bit more maybe appreciation, gratitude. What kind of blocks us on the way there? I know I'm throwing a bunch of things out there, but today definitely has a strong energy. And let me just check. Just going to check the moon here. So we are, it's going to be the last quarter on the 11th, but today is the day after the full moon. So the full moon was on the 4th of December 2025, and the 5th is going to be the day after. And we start the waning moon process. Okay, so the waning moon, whatever's going to go on and what we need to let go of. So I would say let's let go of some of the resentments, especially, with people, family, whatever's going on, and really replace it, let's say, by gratitude. All right. So I'm going to look at what blocks us. What might those resentments be? On a collective, and maybe it'll resonate with you on a personal consciousness, so you can find out what's holding you back. So let's look at. I'm going to do what's holding me back. Oh boy! All right, so that is just crazy. This is the Fives, Eight of Swords. So when I'm asking what's holding you back, and we look at it, what comes up is the interference card. These are the thoughts in the mind that actually leave. That you can see the picture. She's hanging. I think this also relates to, I don't know what myth it is. I'm going to have to look it up. I haven't looked them all up. But that eight lets us know something's interfering. This is going to be mental interference. When there's mental interference, that can perpetuate some emotional state difficulty and leave you sort of hanging, or leave you in a position where the mind dominates, but the rest of your life is on hold. So obviously the antidote, let's look at what the antidote is. I've given you one, but this is the King of Swords, and this is Odysseus. So Odysseus or Odysseus, we see him traveling and slaying all of the dragons. They aren't necessarily dragons, but we've got the Cyclops that he slays. He has to go on all of these heroic stories that allow him to deal with those dragons in his life, right? So Odysseus is what we need to become when it comes to these. Like, if you look at all the eight swords above us, these are all the, let's say, stories that we've told. They can be our beliefs. It can be our beliefs about those stories. It can be our positioning, our observation, right? So when we're looking at the world, we're looking at it through our lens, and whatever we are looking at is usually it's what we're looking at is usually what we aim at, is usually the direction, the perspective in which we take. And sometimes to shift the perspective, we're going to have to go challenge those, let's say, beliefs that we have, or go and slay our own beliefs. That's the internal journey. That's the journey people talk about very often when they go on a psychedelic voyage, right? So they can look within and see something that is above the meta, right? What is metaphysical, what is above my singular, narrow, singularly aimed story. And many times the aim that we have, let's say, I'm thinking and I'd like to, be successful at, I don't know, figure skating. You want to become a figure skating, you want to be very successful at it, and your aim is to go there. But when you notice yourself, you notice your aim is mostly to stop critiquing yourself, which is part and parcel of it. But let's say your aim is to look at everything you criticize and unpack each thing that you criticize about yourself. So now your aim is towards what you think and what you think about yourself. You're not aiming towards, I need to be a swimmer, I can go, a skater, I need to improve my skating, I need to figure out ways to improve my skating. That's my aim. Instead, I'm going in and I'm trying to fix my thoughts about it before I can get there. It's kind of like motivation. People talk about motivation. I need to be motivated. I need to be motivated. I just look at that and go, well, that's so fake. That just seems to be something that I'm looking for that is intangible, not real. And it just keeps me involved in waiting for motivation. So before I can do something, I need this. No, you don't. It's the same old adage. We've heard over and over again, it takes money to make money. Yeah, but what of you, even though you don't have the actual cash dollars, what in you has a value of money? It could be, let's say somebody is really good at working with wood, working with iron. Somebody knows how to clean, let's say, dirty jewelry really well and get into the nooks and crannies. Whatever your talent is, from something that seemingly is that mundane to art, how can I get that to be something that provides more things for me? Because that is money. So we don't, of course, it takes money to make money. Makes a lot of sense. But if you think of money as I need the cash, then you're not really getting it. Money ultimately is energy. If you reduce everything to money, then you're reducing it to something that you need before you can do something. When you look at yourself and go, what is it that within me is worth this energy that somebody is going to purchase or buy? So I'm just pointing out different ways in which our minds end up interfering in the very thing that we are trying to get. So I introduced this by thinking, well, we're getting closer to holiday season. We're getting closer to solstice. We're getting closer to the end of the year. There's a lot of endings, wrapping things up. There's a lot of celebration that will be going on. At the same time, there will be people who are not celebrating. Like if somebody's ending is to die, the people around them are going to have to grieve and contend with that, right? If there's someone whose ending of the year is looking back at the year going, wow, I just failed at everything this year. It was just one failure after another. But now that I'm coming to the end of the year, what can I appreciate? So yes, there was one failure after another. But what I can appreciate is I'm still here. And what are the things that I can be grateful for that are the next step? I can use all those things I failed at as my learning curve, where I need to learn, where I need to get better at doing something. And then we start the new year that way. So we're already taking a peek at this. There's a lot of mental, let's say, turpitude. Yeah, I think that would be a good word, because once the mind, it can also be very, much like a tornado up there. But when you look at somebody who's in a tornado, you just see this mental turpitude when it comes to reaching your aim in life, whatever it is you're aiming for. So we want to clear that out. We want a lot of cleansing going on. So that's what Odysseus does. That's what do we call him? This is the King of Swords. He's going to go, let's cut that crap out of the way. It's like, okay, there are a bunch of spider webs. I can't get through them to go clean my kitchen. No, you get a sword and you cut all the spider webs, vacuum them up, and you're done. But if you're thinking about all of the things in and around it, and you need to be motivated and you need to have all these things, that is going to lead to turpitude. So the mind's thinking and interference leads to a turpitude in life. So a lot of us end up with that because you can be highly anxious, right? So there are a lot of people that are very anxious. So one of the things you can look at is, what is it that I can do? What is it I'm able to do? And how can I do what I need to do? Even though I'm experiencing that anxiousness, I'm going to use a bunch of techniques that I know how to use. Like, I'm not going to drink coffee today. I'm going to drink a little bit more water. I'm going to do my breathing. I'm going to do meditation. I'm going to start to exercise. And I'm only going to do the very simple thing that leads me to the direction. I'm not going to think of where I'm going. So one of the things when people have anxiety or they start to have a panic attack, a good thing to do is name 5 objects in the room. Really look at them. Cup, box, lamp, right? And then look at 5 colors: white, brown, blue, green, orange. Then you just do this and it slowly gets you back into the present. Because most of it, I'm not saying all of it, because there is sometimes an undigested piece of meat, that could cause one to be anxious. You could have had too much sugar, which could cause you to be anxious. I know that, when I go off my diet and have sugar, it immediately starts a cascade of, difficulties. I'll start to get stressed, and in that I get stressed and anxious, I'll go and have more sugar the next day, and then I go, whoops, no, you won't be doing that. Then I go back to, let's go into keto, complete keto, so I can, remain in a nice calm place. Then there's all the other things, like, what medications are you taking? How much sleep have you gotten? Have you exercised? I mean, there's so many different things that can lead to anxiousness, but those are manageable. When there's psychological anxiousness, where we're trying to accomplish all of our thinking, again, that's going to lead to anxiety. We need the night to courageously look at the story and then just cut through the dross. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. And let's get a third card to give us what's going on. This is the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles, this is a beautiful card that lets us know this is the way to success. So what I was bringing up is the aim, right? The first thing I thought of was, what's my aim? What's the aim for the new year? Sure, there's a lot of things that went on, things that weren't really good, that didn't work out for me. Okay, what can I be grateful for? What is blocking my way? All right, so I need to cut through all of this thinking process that overdoes things, and then I'm going to have the gains that I need. All right, so that's our beautiful week. There's a lot more to talk about in this field, but we'll leave that for another time. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll be on to December 12th will be the Friday after the 12th of December. So we'll have our next reading there, and we'll be slowly getting closer and closer to solstice, because that won't quite, so that'll be the 18th. It'll be the week after. So getting closer, and we'll see what needs to really transform and go into a bit of a sleepy mode so that it passively develops. So one of the things that you can do while we're going through these readings is to kind of figure out what some of your goals are, your aims are, let's say for the next year. That can be likened, I don't want to put this as New Year's resolutions, like I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. No, we want an aim, right? So what are you aiming at? So let's say your aim is to, lose weight next year. That can be fine, but not saying I want to go on a diet. Well, you want to say, well, there's my aim is to lose weight, but there are a lot of components that need to be added to it, especially in relationship to your daily life. Like, how much exercise can you do? I find winter is a little bit difficult because I can't go for my walks as much. I don't end up outside as much. When it's really cold, I just get too contracted. My joints get really tight. So I have to do a lot more working out in the house, try and walk around in the house. But of course, I don't get as many, steps in and cardio in. So, okay, when's it time to join a gym? Oh dear, but I might go away. There are a lot of complications. So we really need to have gratitude for where we are and what are the things we need to do on a daily basis that support us, not just kind of um, I want to take all the steps to get to my aim, not kind of look at the aim and then criticize myself on the way there, right? That's kind of what we're doing. It's to look at the aim and then find all the little details of what we need to do and where our strengths are. Okay, so where's my strength? What is my greatest strength? If I know my weaknesses, well, then I want to make sure that when I fall prey to my weaknesses, like my weakness is I get tired really easily. Sure, I'm working at dealing with that. I'm taking all kinds of supplements. I have my doctors checking in on it. I'm trying to figure out all different ways medically. So, with allopathic medicine, with alternative medicine, with vitamins and minerals, I'm working at all of that, including all the other work I do with myself. But very often, I fail. Yeah, there's failure. Of course there is. We're not going to be able to fit a perfect mold. So we keep working that through as part of the chaos. So some days you go along, it's wonderful, then all of a sudden something chaotic comes up. And as a woman, being more having that tendency to lead to crazy, to lead to my feelings and my thoughts all get mushed up together and I have to siphon through them, and I go to my partner and I say to him, okay, I'm thinking this and that and that. And he's just looking at me like, basically the look on his face shows me that you look really crazy. And then he says something so straight and direct that I don't want to hear. I really don't want to hear it. All right. I want him to just kind of go along. But of course, he's doing the best thing for me, which is let's go straight in it and then I go off. It gives me time to say, well, you went to him for this exact thing that he's going to cut through like Odysseus. He's going to cut through the dross of too many thoughts, my crazy feminine, for whatever reason, whether my hormones have gone all over the place. So I don't really have hormones, so I take hormone HRT, and of course, taking the HRT, I notice sometimes I go a little wackier. There's a day that you're supposed to take a break, and that day I take a break, and then I go back on, and it's like I go through menopause all over again. And we know traditionally people used to say, you are your hormones, which makes a lot of sense. So it's not going to be perfect. Not everything's going to be perfect. There's going to be a loss of energy. There's going to be confusion in the mind. But I can find all the things to my advantage, especially my partner, who's going to give me those advantages. If I go in my craziness and I work against everything around me, well, you can be guaranteed that everything is going to seem as though it goes against you. All right, everyone. Thank you for being here and have a great week. Let me know how you experienced this. I'm moving myself around here because I want to see the little figurines that are skating in the snow. We don't quite have enough snow yet to do that. But the moment there is, I think I'm going to go have a little snowball fight with my partner and have some fun out there. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. Please like, share, and subscribe, and also ask questions. Let me know what you'd like to hear about. There's so many different topics to work with. I'd love to hear what you want to hear about. Bye, everyone.